Welcome to Barnstable Today's Year in Review. There were a few changes to our daily morning show in 2017. We updated our format from an hour-long show to a half an hour in an effort to streamline the information to you, our viewer. Sarah Mantle moved with her family across the country in late August, and I stepped up as host in September. Although we've been through some changes, our goal has always been to bring you all the news and information you need to keep you informed about what's going on right here in the town of Barnstable. In this year in review, we'll look back on the past year and share some of our favorite interviews and segments. We hope you will join us again next year. Channel 18 is committed to the town's mission statement to provide the best possible services consistent with our budget policy, to respond to the needs of our community, and to openly involve all in protecting our unique character and quality of life. We will be back on January 3rd with all new shows. From all of us here at Channel 18, we wish you a Happy New Year. I'm here on Sandy Neck Beach with Sandy Neck Beach Park Manager Nina Coleman. This is one of the most beautiful spots on, I think, not just on Cape Cod, but really in the world. It is so pretty here. One of the greatest things too, the bird watching is fantastic on Sandy Neck Beach and Cape Cod. Cape Cod is known for bird watching.
Absolutely. Yep.
Really interesting to see that someone finished their big year this year on Cape Cod. So one of the things people get really excited about is snowy owls, and they've been coming to Sandy Neck for a couple years, right?
Sandy Neck has had a snowy owl generally over winter here for many years. Of course, we had that year where we had multiple animals when there was a lot of snowies on Cape wide. Yep, every year we have a snowy, and we enjoy it very much to go out and see it every year. And it does spend the winter here. It's coming from the north and coming to a warmer place, which is kind of odd to think of this time of year. But coming to overwinter here, where the weather is more, settled and quiet, and then going back up north in the spring.
Wow, hard to think that this is a more settled climate.
It's
pretty cold out here.
I guess so, yeah.
So, do a lot of people come to just try and get a sighting, trying to capture a photo maybe of a snowy owl?
Absolutely. We have a lot of questions about snowies. This year, our resident snowy is way down the beach. It's not really accessible by a hike unless you have all day. And I just want to remind people too, if you do see a snowy here or really anywhere, be respectful of that animal. We don't want to continually make that animal fly. That takes a lot of energy. So we need to keep our distance and not walk in the dunes. That's another thing. People are cromping all over the dunes, all over the Cape looking for snowies.
Right, trying to get that shot, trying to get that photo.
Right, and it's frustrating because they have their cell phones too, so they want to get right up close to it. We get a little thinking just about us and not about that animal, so we need to keep the distance.
And the ecosystem here, we definitely do not want to damage the dunes. So
we definitely do not. No.
Very important to stay off the dunes. Well, being out here on Sandy Neck, we were walking out here for our interview, saw someone hiking. Sandy Neck people still come to Sandy Neck to enjoy it over the winter time. What is there to do in the winter here at Sandy Neck?
Absolutely. Well, it is really a beautiful time of year. The landscape is just so barren, and the colors are just really intense, and a lot of people are hiking. I would definitely recommend a winter hike on Sandy Neck. The gatehouse can give you a map, and there's a lot of different distances. Gotta be careful. Keep an eye on that weather, but certainly a hike. Bird watching is phenomenal, not just snowies, but these big winds out of the north push in a lot of seabirds, and you get very unusual sightings. So we have a lot of folks that are bird watching.
Interesting. So you can still see lots of different birds, even in the wintertime.
Absolutely, even more so in the wintertime. This is when we do start, in the fall, we do start seeing like the really high-end birders out here with their millions of dollars worth of equipment.
Really?
Trying to, and it's written that way out. Birders have a lot of materials on where to go, and Sandy Neck is one of those primo spots to come and see birds. So bird watching, hiking, certainly if we had snow, which we probably will eventually, great place to go cross-country skiing or snowshoeing, but stay on the trails. Again, it's tempting starting to want to get up in those dunes, but stay on those trails. And amazing. I've done it out here. It's just wonderful.
You know, I would have never thought about snowshoeing or snow skiing out here. Great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for all the tips, because I'm telling you, this is one of my favorite places in the whole world. Every time I come here, it's an amazing experience and such a beautiful spot. So anything else we need to know about wintertime at Sandy Neck?
Yeah, those of you that have off-road vehicle stickers, you need to still, follow all the rules and regulations. You need to air down, and our hours on the beach are greatly reduced for safety reasons. We're only allowing vehicles on the beach 8 to 4, and watch your tides. They're a lot bigger in the winter, and people can get, stuck out there.
Awesome, great. Thanks for all the tips. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, Sarah.
Look forward to chatting with you again in the future.
All right, you take care.
Our guest today was Nina Coleman, Sandy Neck Beach Park Manager. Your title is museum director, right?
Executive director.
Executive director. Okay.
Janitor. Snow shoveler.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades.
3, 2. We're here at the JFK Museum in Hyannis with Executive Director John Allen. John, very excited to talk about a partnership that you guys have made with Barnstable High School art students. Tell me a little bit about this collaboration.
Well, with this year being the 100th birthday of President Kennedy, one of the items that's important to us is that we find those opportunities to bring that story to the younger members of our community. And some of those are educational. In this case, it's the use of art to capture what they, in their own way, they came to the museum, the students, connected with them, that brings in the association of either legacy of President Kennedy on public service and certainly leadership, and or just talking about a subject that was of great interest to them that would tie into the association.
Any feedback from the kids after the tour? What did they find most interesting, or maybe what did they not know about before coming to the museum?
Well, it was an interesting journey. We had a meeting here at the museum, and we brought the head of the art department and a couple of our directors who were educators. And we just basically took them around the museum and looked at some of the exhibits that are here, but then we said we have different themes of items and artifacts and images of other aspects of President Kennedy and the family. And you can go through those as you want. So they basically, I guess to answer your question, they did it on their own. They got together in groups, they look at some collaboration in some of the pieces, and they worked with their instructor, but it was very independent. And they weren't told any parameter. They were open on the type of medium that they would use. They were open on how they would convey it. And there was no guidance or kind of ground rules that we would look for, just that it would convey something that was important to them in their association with President Kennedy, and that would tie well into an exhibit at the high school.
I cannot wait to see the exhibit at the high school. It's coming out Tuesday, February 7th, is the opening of the exhibit at the high school. I'm very excited to see what the students took away from their time here at the museum and what President Kennedy means to them.
I know. Well, this is what's unique about it, and I'll come back to the exhibit. What's unique is that we are living through a very interesting presidential change. And with the inauguration this past Friday, there is no doubt that the younger generation have gotten engaged with this election in the range of what it was and what it wasn't. And more importantly, the dynamics of what has gone on and that has probably a lot of people talking about the election, but what it really is talking to us is, and I think it came through with the students, is that they're more engaged on the subject of a president, because it was quite active, to be an understated word. But more importantly, that I feel it provoked their own need to have a point of view. They had to somehow get involved. I think that's great. What I hoped through this, and they're going at their exhibit, is what resonated around the artifact or image that they had. What did they see, and what are they trying to message in that? Is it public service? Is it some of the history? Is it being on Cape Cod? Is it the family? And more importantly, how they present it, because there's going to be some good mixture of the way they put their art objects together. So we're happy about it. One, because it is a great way of connecting the younger generation with our museum, connecting them with the legacy of President Kennedy and some of what he represented. But also, I feel to give them some sort of self-learning that might prompt them to maybe do something on their own, whether it's the study of more history, or whether it's to maybe get involved. One of the items that I feel is important, and the museum tying into this exhibit, is to see the voice and to ask for their voice in what is going on in our museum, and how does it resonate. It'll give us some good guidance.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing so much with us about this exhibit. Very excited to attend again Tuesday, February 7th at Barnstable High School. I believe, is it 5 o'clock?
5 o'clock, 5 to 7. And what's going to be great, if I can just take another minute, with this being his 100th birthday, and his actual birthday will be Memorial Day, May 29th, the night of May 28th will be a concert in collaboration with the Cape Cod Symphony Orchestra there at the Performing Arts Center at the high school. And we anticipate a full house. We've already sold, I think, about 450 tickets of 1,400 are already out. And that exhibit will be there. So when their guests are coming in, that exhibit will be right in the lobby as they come in to go to the arts theater, and then there'll be a little congregation after that. So it's going to get some good play, and we're happy on that.
Wonderful. Love to see too local museums working with students to help encourage learning and taking it into their own hands. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much,
Thank
John.
you, Sarah.
Of course, our guest today, Executive Director of the JFK Hyannis Museum, John Allen. So Antonia, you started at the library in October of 2015 as the assistant director. You had a lot of experience working in a library. You worked for a long time at Sturgis Library.
I worked at Marston's Mills Library for 9.5 years and at Sturgis Library for 4.5 years. Yeah, so
wow,
I came in
lots
with
of
a lot
experience.
Of Barnstable Libraries is kind of my specialty.
Yeah, I like it. We have a great library system, don't we?
Absolutely.
Very lucky, I think, to have a library in every village. One of the things I think that's so special about that is that the programs at the library really can focus on the community, and you guys here at Katuitt have some fantastic programs. Right now we have people knitting outside, you have a knitting group, you have reading groups, you have great programs. One of the programs you guys do a great job of too is technology.
Yes.
Do you want to continue? I know Jenny Wiley, the former director, started some of that technology work. Do you want to continue those programs?
Absolutely. I think that it's vital to all the members of our community, the seniors and the young people. We go to the Senior Center, as you know, to do technology classes there, either one-on-one sessions or tutorials. And I'd like to also bring tutorials here to the library. We hadn't been doing that in the last little while. I've just recently hired a new programming technology and outreach coordinator, Gus Haslanian, so he will be working on that. And then with Jenny's help, we wrote a grant for a computer coding camp for young children. And we got that grant from the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners and the Institute for Museum and Library Services. And we are going to be running some camps for very young children, learning how to code, but not necessarily actually being on the computer, learning computational thinking. So that was a big thing that Jenny wanted to do, and we're excited to move forward with that. So.
Well, very exciting too, because this is a growing field, and to introduce kids, I think, at a younger age really makes them, they learn stuff so much better when they're younger, and this could really be a great introduction, foundation for a career.
Exactly.
Later in life.
It's a form of literacy that we really have to embrace, and it's not, people get a little concerned that, you're going to stick very small children in front of computers for an hour at a time, but it's not that at all. It's really learning how as I said, computational thinking works, so you can do it with directions, and you don't even have to have a screen in front of you. We have all sorts of games and crafts that help you think that way. So it's.
Have you heard of the Autobot or Ozobot or something? It's a coding. I'll have to show you.
There are a lot
It's
of
really
coding things out
cool.
there
Yeah,
right
there's
now,
some
so.
great games and fun things you can do with kids.
We're going to be doing Cubetto, which is a little wooden robot. He's super cute, and you can program him. And we have Robot Turtles, which is a board game, and Code Monkey Island. They're really fun games for kids to play.
So cool. So they're going to be learning things, but they won't even know.
Exactly.
Is there going to be a cost for kids to attend the camp?
No, not at all. That's one of the things that we focus very hard on, is trying to find outside funding so that no patron has to pay for anything. And that's particularly great for seniors or people with a lot of children who want to participate, and they can't, they spend all of their money trying to participate in things.
So many camps are so expensive. As a parent of two, I know, looking at the camps, they can get really pricey really fast. So what an awesome opportunity to have it here at the library. You do some really great programs. Very excited about, you have people come and talk about their travel experiences. You have so many different events. What are your favorite events here at the library?
Well, I would say right now my big focus is on this Royston Nash Music Appreciation Series, because we got grants from the Arts Foundation of Cape Cod and from the Mid-Cape Cultural Council, as well as monies that were donated to the library when Royston Nash passed away last spring. So we've put those monies together so we can actually fund performers and speakers to come, and for 2 years of music events. So we've got concerts, but they also have a didactic component so that people tell about the genre that they are performing. We're having Betsy Siggins, who's a Katuitt resident and person in the folk industry. She's going to be talking about protest songs. We're having a little mini folk festival next fall. We're going to have a jazz festival next summer. We're trying to focus on all sorts of different genres of music. And we had the Cranberry Shores barbershop chorus come in and sing, and then we did a documentary on barbershop. So people are just learning a little bit more about music than just sort of sitting back and appreciating it. So that's something that I'm really focused on.
Plus, listening to live music is such a great experience. It's so relaxing.
Absolutely.
So really important, I think. That's such a cool program.
And bringing people into the library who might not otherwise come here, and then they see the space and they see the resources and realize how important a community center it is.
Do you have any, you've talked about so many great things that you have implemented and you've been working on, so many great grants that you're getting. Are there any other goals you have for the future of the library?
Yes, I really think it's important to reach out to some of our community neighbors, including the church and the Civic Association, and really form some bonds there, just in terms of providing services for our community together, because we're all working in sort of the same areas and want the same things for our community. I also think it's important that we keep going with our discussion on the opioid crisis. That we had that panel discussion last spring, and I really would like to do some more, slightly more focused discussions with that. And it's just been, right now I'm still trying to figure out what exactly I'm, all of the things that I need to be covering in this job. So it's,
wow, and it sounds like you're doing an amazing job, I have to be honest. You've really hit the ground running, but with so much library experience, it is not surprising.
You know what? Much of it has to do with an amazing staff. I have a great board. I have people, patrons who are just so helpful, volunteers, our friends. I mean, this is not a job you can do alone by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm super blessed to have all of this support, so it's great.
Well, congratulations on the new position. We're glad to have you here, and
Thank you.
look forward to coming back and talking about more programs in the future.
Absolutely, anytime.
Thanks so much, Antonia.
You're welcome.
So Danny, tell me a little bit about improv. I've never actually watched improv.
Well, what we do here is put on an improv show every Friday night for our audiences. And improv, at the heart of it, is really just about conversation. What we're doing right now is kind of improv. It's really, I often tell beginners, it's not going into it thinking that you're going to make a joke every 5 seconds. That's not the right way to go about it. You really just want to keep talking. And as long as you can keep talking and keep saying something, eventually the humor just finds its way into the natural conversation, because improv draws funny people usually.
So that seems really challenging to me. I'm like the news person, so really used to having a script, really used to preparing for interviews, making notes. Is it a tough thing to do when you get in here and get in front of people and start acting?
Oh, it can be difficult for first-timers, getting over that, oh my God, everyone expects me to be funny. Everyone, you know, if you're not hearing laughter, you're thinking, oh my God, I'm bombing. But that's not the essence of it. I mean, as long as you just keep the scene flowing, like I said, that humor comes naturally. So getting over that initial, I'm up in front of an audience, they're all watching me, what's gonna happen? That takes some time, but after a couple rounds, you get used to it.
How have you enjoyed, you've been here at the Geyer Barn performing on Friday nights for a while now. How long has that been going on?
I've been personally involved with the company for 2 years now. This will be the New Classic Company's 4th summer in the Geyer Barn. I got involved through improv workshops that we hope to revisit this summer. I came and they were like, hey, why don't you start coming to our rehearsals? And I got involved and eventually took more of a leadership role in helping to run the rehearsals and design shows for performance.
So how does it work? Do you come on a Friday night with some sort of plan in mind at all? I mean,
Yeah.
you're the director, so what are you directing exactly?
Well, on Tuesdays, the group gets together, and that's open to essentially anyone who's interested and wants to play. And we rehearse games. It's interesting to say rehearse because you never get up and do the same thing you've done in rehearsal. It's different every time. And that's part of the challenge on Tuesdays is, you know, we retread a lot of the same ground, but you need to make it new and inventive every time. So we work on just our general improving skills, and sometimes we practice new games if we want to introduce them into the shows. And then through rehearsals, you know, that brings us to Friday where we all get up here, and I'll come with a list pre-prepared that no one knows about. That's what makes it improv. And that shows the games that we'll play and who will play the games. And they find that out as we announce it to the audience. So we take an audience suggestion and we're off.
Now, what do you hope that the audience takes away from coming to an improv night?
A smile, like a laughter. I mean, that's what we're after. We want to get people interested in our art and what we do. We want to get people interested in this wonderful space. You know, people often say there's nothing to do on Cape, but that's not true. They're just not looking hard enough. We do it here every Friday.
And the greatest thing I think about improv nights is it is free to attend. Anyone can drop by. You do accept donations, though. That goes right back to the company.
Yes, indeed. All of our donations go towards our regular season programming. In the summer, we put on stage shows, stage readings. We host movie screenings on the green. We're very involved and active in workshops and things like that. So,
if someone wants to get involved, maybe find out where you're going to be, when you're going to be, or if they want to come to a Tuesday night improv group, where can they learn more information about you guys?
They should look us up, newclassicscompany.org, and find us on Facebook, New Classics Company. We're looking into maybe doing some workshops to get people more involved so that we can, you know, expand our group. See, that was improv.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Well, hey, thank you so much, Danny, for joining us and telling us all about this great opportunity for residents to come out and get a few laughs.
Of course.
Really
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
And sorry, if you like what you see from this interview, come and check us out Friday nights at 7:30. Like she said, it's free. Our shows are PG-13, so it's fun for everyone involved.
Yeah, thank you so much for telling us all about it. Of course, my guest today, Danny Price. He is the improv director with New Classics Company.
All right, we're gonna play a game called 1 to 4, 4 to 1. 1 to 4, 4 to 1. Jamie, Maxie, Matt, Chelsea. Just like that. Now how this works is we're gonna begin this scene with Jamie here. Now, how this works is that Jamie is going to begin his scene. At any point during the scene, I can, my hands, at which point Maxie will come into the scene, at which point Matt will come into the scene, and then Chelsea. Now, each person, when they enter, they will bring a brand new scene into the scene. We use that word a lot around here. How this works is that when all 4 characters are into the scene, they will find their own motivation, or they will be given impetus to leave from the other players, and they will leave in the reverse order they came. So they will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jamie, you're painting a self-portrait.
Do I look like that? I need a mirror.
Look, Jamie 3000, tell me, I'm beautiful, right?
Yes, you look very beautiful.
Because you can't lie. You're the truth robot. I hope I got the right brand, right? Yes.
I am programmed to shun all falsehoods and speak only what is verifiable.
Yes. So that...
Hey man, what do you think you're doing, huh? What? Huh? You trying to talk to my girl over here? Oh, no, I'm just being friendly. What is this? What
But
is
Johnny,
this?
you don't have to get so defensive. We were just talking,
He
all
was
right?
putting his hand out like he was gonna touch your hand, and I don't like that.
We like casualties like that.
I was just shaking her hand, man. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. Hey, let me talk to my girl, okay? Just all right. Hey, chill out, man.
Johnny, you gotta stop this. You gotta stop being so territorial all the time.
Okay, I am a.
Ooh, girl, don't you know? Oh my!
Guys,
Oh.
It's oh my!
half step keychain. Okay.
I thought it was my. Oh, hey.
Are you sure you can't be
sorry,
like
I'm
my
sorry. Oh, do we have like a pitch pipe or something? Bring in a piano.
I can't.
You know what, man?
Johnny, you gotta stop this already.
You know what? I'm gonna go make my own territory somewhere else, and you can just stay out of it.
Okay, fine.
So, yes,
Jamie 3000.
yes, affirmative.
So, Tim's been texting me. It seems real, right? Like, he wants more than, just a casual thing. Like, he wants more of a relationship.
Let me analyze his vocabulary. He only wants to be your friend. I'm so sorry.